Assalamu alaikum guys, and hello, welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing and turn on the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I release a new video. I release videos every Wednesday at exactly 10:30 a.m. and I also release short videos in between to keep it going. So I would appreciate if you turn on the notification bell. I appreciate you guys working with me all the way. Whenever I release a new video, I usually get new subscribers, new people engaging. So I really want to appreciate you guys for that support. I also want to ask another favor from you guys. Whenever you watch my videos, if you benefit in any way, or if you know anyone who is going to benefit, please make sure you engage by liking the video, or by commenting, or by sharing this video with another person, because it helps with the engagement and it also helps increase the watch time hours of my YouTube channel, which leads to me being monetized. If you clicked on this video, it's because you want to know about industrial attachment, and you are probably either doing your industrial attachment or you are preparing to go for your industrial attachment. So basically in this video, I'm sharing my experience, things that I wish I knew before I went for my industrial attachment, and we'll also cover how you can secure an industrial attachment opportunity, and what you're going to do if you manage to secure an industrial attachment, what you're going to go through. We are going to talk about your industrial attachment period at that organization. And lastly, we are going to talk about the few things that you should look into as you do your industrial attachment. So guys, I'm so happy to share with you this, because I have experienced it, and I know if I share it with you guys, it's going to benefit you in a way. We are going to start by defining what an industrial attachment is, and then we are going to go ahead and differentiate what is the difference between an internship and an industrial attachment, because most of the times we tend to confuse these two things. So an industrial attachment is basically a 3 months duration whereby a student of a particular college or university is given so that they can go put whatever they have learned into practice in a relevant organization. Yeah, so people usually confuse the concept of industrial attachment and internship. So an industrial attachment is done before you finish your years of college. It is actually a requirement. You cannot graduate if you haven't done your industrial attachment. And that is why you will see most people delay their graduation, because they haven't done their industrial attachment. Internship is usually a period also of searching for experience, especially immediately after you are done with your university education or with your college education. Yeah, so there is usually a challenge in terms of securing attachment opportunities, especially in our country. I don't know in other countries, but there is a problem when it comes to, there is a challenge, sorry, when it comes to securing internship or attachment opportunities in our country. So we are going to look at how can you secure an internship opportunity in Kenya or in other parts of the world, because this can be applicable to others too. So number one thing I'd say is there are usually different organizations that know that there are attachees that are supposed to be practicing whatever they learn in college. So they advertise for attachment opportunities for different students to apply to different departments in their organization so that they can go practice whatever they have learned. So they're usually openings. So one thing, if you want to get an attachment opportunity, is to be on the lookout. Be alert. Know what companies you want to work with. Know when they are advertising for their attachment opportunities. Most importantly, know if the time they are advertising for these attachment opportunities is aligned to the time that you're going to be going for attachment. Yeah, so you need to know all this. So there are government institutions and there are private companies. These are places you should apply to, okay? And don't refrain from applying to a particular organization that just because it's small, just because it's not well known. As long as it can offer you the relevant experience, apply for that opportunity. Most of us want to work with big companies, and sometimes it's really hard to get opportunities in government companies, in big companies. So apply even to those small companies. both of them offer experience. Some people say that small companies offer a lot of experience because they're starting. Some people will tell you that big companies offer a lot of experience because they have a lot of work there. So you look at where you want to go. I have said one way to get an industrial attachment opportunity is to apply. Apply and make a follow-up. Don't apply and sit down. Apply and rewrite emails. Check up on these people. Go physically, because sometimes you might apply for these attachment opportunities and then they just put your papers in a drawer, and some of these companies will not even check their emails. So do both. Send emails, and if you can, go physically and inquire about these opportunities. Another way you can secure an attachment opportunity is by sharing what you do with your family and friends and asking them to help you secure an attachment opportunity. Because let's face it, people really miss attachment opportunities, and it's because everyone in the workplace, sometimes they give preference to the people they know. Like, this is a reality and we have to face it. So if you have your aunt, your uncle, your brother, your whoever, your friend, if they work in a certain company, request them to help you secure an attachment opportunity. Here, something to note is that you need to be doing follow-up as well. And you need to tell these friends and family early enough. Tell them when you are going to be starting your attachment. Tell them to tell you the requirements that their company require for you to start your attachment, and everything that you need to know. Like, let them tell you and share with them what they need to know so that they can help you get that attachment opportunity. Yeah, so that is how you can secure an attachment opportunity. So guys, we are done with the application part. Now we come to the second part. So once you have applied for that internship attachment opportunity, you're going to be called for your interview. So if you get called for your interview, you need to have the relevant documents that you are asked by that particular company to provide when you're coming for your interview. And after the interview, if you are successful, you're going to be contacted and you're going to be you're going to be taken for induction. So induction is basically the organization informing you what they are dealing with, their expectations of you in terms of your dress code. Like, you're going to be told a lot of stuff about the organization. So in an induction, you usually meet different attachees from different departments, and then you eat, they talk to you, the heads of the department talk to you, they tell you about the organization, they tell you about the expectations, and then afterwards, now you will be given a date of which you're going to report. Now once you report, you are going to be taken around, and that is what we call the orientation. Now it is very, very important for you to be there during the orientation, because you will be taken through the different segments of your department, and it is really, really important for you to know the different segments in your department, because I believe after the orientation there's going to be a rotation roster. So for my case, I did information technology, so we had the ICT help desk department, we had the networking department, we had the IT support department. So these are the different departments that we had to know. We also had other departments like I forgot the other departments, but basically not departments, actually they are segments in that IT department. So you will be taken through, and it is very, very important for you to be there, because your duty rotation is going to alternate. It could be weekly, or maybe twice a week, yeah. So you need to be available during the orientation. So after the orientation, you're going to start working. Now, this is where I want us to really pay attention. So number one thing I want you guys to note down is that when you're starting your attachment, you need to know who your supervisor is. If they don't assign you a supervisor, follow up. I don't know who you're going to contact, but follow up. If possible, ask the interns that are already there. Ask them, like, how can I get a supervisor, because I haven't been allocated one. Because you really need a supervisor, because when your assessor comes at the end of this attachment period, they are going to need you to take them to your supervisor. So number one thing, make sure you know who your supervisor is. The second thing is, make sure you print out your logbook early enough. early enough, so that as you start your attachment, consult with the interns how you can fill your logbook. And inshallah, we are going to make a video on this issue of how you can fill your logbook. Yeah, so make sure you print out your logbook early enough, and make sure you fill that logbook in a weekly basis so that you can submit it to your supervisor on a weekly basis. Some supervisors will not tolerate you piling up your work and taking your work to them for signing at the last time, because remember, the supervisor has the organizational work to do, and they still have to write comments on your logbook. So if you really want to give your supervisor an easy time, and if you really want your supervisor to favor you, do yourself a favor, print out your logbook early enough. And number 2, make sure you submit your logbook to your supervisor on a weekly basis. Ask them when they are comfortable to take in your work, but don't pile up your work and wait for the few days that are remaining for you to finish your attachment for you to take your logbook to your supervisor. You won't like it. Some supervisors will not sign your logbook. Something else you should note when you are doing your attachment is that you will be provided by a rotation roster, and the rotation roster is going to allocate you to the different segments on a weekly basis, or on whatever schedule your organization will be doing. Yeah, but there is going to be this rotation roster. Now, you might be going for your attachment, and maybe my interest is in software, my interest is in networking, or according to the field you are studying, like you might have an idea of what you really like. But despite that, make sure when you go for your attachment, you follow this rotation roster. Number 1 thing why this is important is that it's going to expose you to different skills, and you might be surprised that you might change your mind on what you like, okay? And then the second reason why following the roster is really important is that it's going to make your logbook rich. Remember, your logbook is going to be graded. So you don't want a logbook that only talks about one segment. Your assessor will be like, this is all you are doing all this time. So if there are different segments in the company, make sure you go through all those segments and make sure you write it down on your logbook. It gives you marks. Another thing. You might think your supervisor is not watching, but your supervisor is really watching. And I'm emphasizing on those of you who are going to be going to government institutions. Those people might look like they don't care, but in real sense, they are watching. So you have to be careful. So if you keep on submitting your logbook to them, indicating the different segments, but you haven't followed the roster really, you are in trouble. Some people might not look into it, but you never know what someone can do, especially your supervisor. So don't try to be clever. Make sure whatever you write is at least what you do. I know sometimes you can take a colleague's logbook and copy things. I know, I did that, okay? But at least let whatever you write relate to what you did on a physical level. Don't write something that you haven't really done, because it's going to get tea for tough with your supervisor. Okay guys, so another thing that you are supposed to note is there's this attendance book usually in every office, and there's usually an attendance for attachees. So make sure you fill that attendance every day before you go out and before you and at the time that you clock in. Make sure you fill this, because maybe your supervisor is not watching, and it comes to a point, like it happened to me during my assessment. My supervisor was saying that I usually come late to the office, but I was always the first person to arrive, okay? So if there is a document like the signing in book, you can take that and show your assessor that this person has said so and so, but I'm the first person who usually arrives at the office. So guys, this is something that most of us attachees usually don't take serious, but that day I really saw the importance of filling in the attendance book. So guys, make sure you fill in the attendance book. And second thing on the attendance, make sure you come you go to the office early enough. You report at the office early enough. If you are maybe in a company where you work half day, if you're supposed to be on the morning shift, report early. If you are at the afternoon shift, report early enough, okay? Keep a good record. And then another thing you also need to note is don't miss out heedlessly. as I said before, you might think your supervisor isn't watching, but they are watching. They are watching. And sometimes they sit down and say, there's a certain attaché, he hasn't been coming or she hasn't been coming. And then the other officers or the other people working in the office start contributing. Oh, this person does this and this. Another thing you need to do is you need to dress appropriately. You need to dress appropriately. You know what appropriately means. Keep official wear. Keep official wear. For the Muslims, you know how to dress up. For those, for the non-Muslims, keep your official wear. Don't try to dress in a way that will ruin your reputation at the office. The reason I'm saying this is because where I was doing my attachment, we thought these supervisors weren't watching, but they were watching. They even used to talk about how some of the attaches don't button up the first part of their shirts. So they'd be like, oh, so and so is showing their chest. That comment might piss us off, but that comment can also ruin our reputation in front of our supervisor. And one other thing to note is that your supervisor has a place where they write about your reporting time, your dress code, and how you deal with people in the office, other than the experience that you gain at the office. So please note of those things. Arrive early, dress appropriately, don't miss heedlessly. Note on those small things, and you're going to find your attachment going well. So another thing I also want to say, it gets boring, and it gets to a time where you get really tired, especially in the last time or in the last month of your attachment. Man, you usually feel so tired and overwhelmed, especially if you don't get monthly tips. Like in the place I used to do my attachment, we used not to have monthly tips. Yeah, we used not to have a monthly salary. So it gets to a point you feel really demotivated. And if you get to this point, just remind yourself why you are doing this. You're doing this for the experience, and you want to leave a good record. You never know, tables can turn, and these people could be looking for someone, and because you are there, you are disciplined, they could hire you. That shouldn't keep your expectations really high, but it is a possibility that can happen. Yeah. So guys, it's going to get to a point where you're going to feel really tired and you just want to lazy around, but don't ruin your record. Just motivate yourself that it's almost over, and then you're going to do it with. And another way you can also motivate yourself, especially in the last moments, in the last month, you're usually really excited of what you're going to learn, but then in the first month you're excited, but in the last month you get tired because you know everything, you keep on repeating the same things, and you just get tired. So this is a month where you really need a lot of motivation. And another way of motivating yourself is hanging around with positive people. You will meet fellow attaches who are just tired of life, who are just there to clock in and clock out. And if you really want negative talk, you should hang around these people. They will tell you why they don't do what they don't do. They will tell you why they are indisciplined, and that is going to affect how you respond. So keep up positive people. It doesn't matter whether you don't hang out with anyone. It doesn't matter if you choose to hang out with interns instead of fellow attaches. Just make sure that you keep up with people who are motivated so that you can keep a good record during your attachment period. Two other things that I want to highlight is when you're starting your attachment, you usually feel green and sometimes you get embarrassed because you don't know a lot of things. But you need to remind yourself during those times that you're there to learn. You're not there to try to be perfect, okay? You are there because you are there to learn. So don't shy away from asking. Don't shy away from saying you don't know, because trust me, if you have the right people, they are willing to take you through those baby steps so that you can learn something. When I went for my attachment, I had very few skills in my field of technology, but when I came out of that place, I was equipped because I was willing to say I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do this. And when you do that, they teach you, and it came to a point where I used to teach other people. You get? So don't shy away from saying that you don't know, because you are there to learn. Something else I want to mention is that sometimes there is no work. So when there is no work, enjoy your freedom. Okay, enjoy it to to a disciplined perspective. Don't try to enjoy it to an extent that you ruin your record. Okay, just do the right thing. Another thing also, be responsible, but don't overwork. Don't overwork with the intention that if you overwork, they are going to take you in. That is what most attaches are usually told, that when you go to a certain company, they tell you if you work hard, we are going to take you. Some of them fulfill their promise, but most of them do not. So just make sure that you are responsible. Do whatever you're supposed to do. Be extra, but don't overdo because you want to be taken. Something I forgot to mention, there is something called an industrial attachment report, which is usually collected by your assessor when they come for assessment. They usually collect your logbook and they collect your industrial attachment report. So prepare your industrial attachment report as early as possible, so that when your assessor comes, these are things that are already there. You don't have to go around up and down, you know. Yeah, so I'm going to create a whole video on how you can prepare your industrial attachment reports, and even cover on how you can fill up your industrial attachment logbook. Yeah, so keep the notification bell turned on so that you can get notified. Otherwise, thank you so much guys for coming this far, listening to the end of the video. Make sure you like, comment below, and share this to someone who you know they're going to benefit. Thank you so much for watching guys, and ma salam. Bye.